Okay, now today we discuss about the construction and working of single phase induction motor. Today's content of the lecture is introduction about induction motor, construction of single phase induction motor, working of single phase induction motor, and then we will conclude it. Okay, so introduction about the induction motor. Induction motor is a one type of asynchronous motor. Okay, generally the motor is classified into two categories: synchronous motor and asynchronous motor. So this induction motor is a one type of asynchronous motor. That means this induction motor never operates on a synchronous speed. Synchronous speed ns is equal to 120 f by p, where f is the frequency and p is the number of pole. Okay, so induction motor is a one type of asynchronous motor. That means induction motor never operates on a synchronous speed, and this synchronous speed is ns is equal to 120 f by P. This induction motor operates on the principle of induction. Okay, DC motor operates on the principle of conduction, whereas this induction motor operates on the principle of induction. That means there is no physical connection between stator winding and rotor winding. If there is a physical connection between stator winding and rotor winding, then we can say that it operates on the principle of conduction. Here in this induction motor, there is no physical connection between stator winding and rotor winding. That's why we can say that it operates on a principle of induction. It has mainly two parts. Each and every rotating machines have mainly two parts. One is the stator and second one is the rotor. Stator is a static part, rotor is a rotating part. A single phase induction motor consists of a single phase winding which is wound on the stator of the motor and a cage winding placed on the rotor. That means the stator winding consists from single phase winding, whereas rotor winding, that is rotor winding, is a cage winding type. That means coil is not wound on rotor. Okay, it is a cage winding placed on the rotor. Okay, so this is the construction image of the single phase induction motor. Okay, so if we see the each and every part of the single phase induction motor, then here is the shaft of single phase induction motor. Okay, this portion, the outer body portion, that is known as the frame or yoke, which consists from the cast iron material. Okay, this is the outer body of the single phase induction motor, and it is known as the frame or yoke, and it consists from the cast iron material. Okay, this portion is the stator portion. Okay, this portion indicates the stator portion, and in this stator one, the slots are made, and in these slots this winding is wound. Here is the stator winding. Okay, so the winding is wound in the slots made on the periphery of the stator. Okay, so this is the stator winding which is wound in the poles of stator, slots of stator. Okay, this portion is the armature, or we can say that the rotor. This is the rotor. Okay, and on this rotor the slots are made, and in these slots the copper bars are placed. Okay, in these slots the copper bars are placed, and these copper bars are short circuited by the copper and rings. Okay, so this portion is the rotor, and this blue color portion is the armature winding, or we can say that the rotor winding. Okay, here is the bearing. Bearing is provided in the shaft. Okay, so this portion is the bearing. Okay, this is the end bell. Okay, here cooling fan is also provided to cool the motor when motor runs. At that time heat is produced. Okay, so we have to dissipate this heat. So for that the cooling fan is provided. Here the end bracket bearing house. Okay, the bearing house is there. It is the end bracket bearing house. Okay, so these are the main parts of the single phase induction motor. Okay, so as its name indicates, stator is the stationary part of induction motor. Okay, and what happens, the single phase AC supply is given to the stator of the single phase induction motor. Here the winding is wound, that is a single phase type winding. Okay, so we can say that a single phase AC supply is given to this stator winding. The stator of single phase induction motor has laminated stamping to reduce eddy current losses on its periphery. Okay, which type of stator is used? That is the, it is of laminated stamping type. Okay, why it is laminated? Because it reduces the eddy current losses. Okay, if the stator stampings are not laminated, then these eddy current losses are not reducing. Okay, so we have to use the laminated stamping to make the stator core. Okay, which reduces the eddy current loss. The slots are provided on its stamping to carry the stator or main winding. Okay, so here this is the stator, and in this stator the slots are made, and in these slots the winding is wound, that is the stator winding. Okay, the stampings are made of silicon steel to reduce the hysteresis loss. Also, the stampings are laminated, and the material used of the stampings are of silicon steel. Okay, why silicon steel material is used for stator core stamping? Because silicon steel material is used to reduce the hysteresis losses. Okay, so this silicon steel material reduces the hysteresis loss. That's why the silicon steel material is used for stator core stamping. When we apply a single phase AC supply to the stator winding, the magnetic field is produced. Okay, whatever the supply is given, here the single phase induction motor is there, so we are giving single phase AC supply to the stator winding. So when single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding, at that time magnetic field is produced. Okay, and the motor runs at a speed is slightly less than a synchronous speed. Okay, and this synchronous speed is the 120 f by p. Okay, now the rotor construction, construction of the rotor of single phase induction motor is similar to squirrel cage three phase induction motor. Okay, the rotor construction of single phase induction motor is looking like a three phase squirrel cage induction motor. Okay, so if we see the construction figure, okay, so this construction looks like a three phase squirrel cage induction motor. Okay, so the rotor construction is same. The rotor is cylindrical and has slots all over its periphery. Okay, so cylindrical type rotor is used, and on outer periphery of the rotor slots are made. Okay, and in the slots are not made parallel to each other but are a little bit skewed, as skewing prevents magnetic locking of stator and rotor teeth and makes the working of induction motor more smooth and quicker. Okay, what happens here, on the outer periphery of the rotor slots are made. Now these slots are not exact parallel but to the stator slots. Okay, but it's little bit skewed compared to the stator slots. Okay, so why skewing is required? Skewing, that means in this shape, in this shape slots are made. Okay, so it is not parallel to the stator. So as the rotor slots are make little bit skewed, that means there is no magnetic locking between stator's teeth and rotor teeth. Okay, so it provides against the magnetic locking between stator's teeth and rotor teeth. Okay, and this makes the induction motor more smooth. So smooth operation is given due to it. Okay, so spiral cage rotor consists from aluminum, brass or copper bars. Okay, so in outer periphery of the rotor, on outer periphery of the rotor, slots are made. In these slots copper bars are placed, and these copper bars are short circuited on both sides by the copper ring. Here is the copper ring. Okay, so these copper bars are placed in the slots, and these copper bars are short circuited by on both sides by the copper ring. So it is a squirrel cage type construction. Okay, and which type of copper bars are used? It is of aluminum type, brass type or copper material is used. Okay, the aluminum or copper bars are called a rotor conductor and placed in the slots on the periphery of the rotor. The copper or aluminum rings permanently short circuit the conductors called the end rings. Okay, as the end rings permanently short the bars, the rotor electrical resistance is very small. Okay, and it is not possible to add an external resistance as the bars get permanently short. Okay, as we can see here that these rotor bars are short circuited permanently by this copper ring. Okay, so we cannot add any extra resistance in the rotor circuit. Okay, and these rotor bars are short circuited, that means the resistance of this rotor is also low. Okay, and we cannot add any extra resistance in the rotor circuit. Okay, the absence of the slip ring and brushes make the construction of single phase induction motor very simple and robust. Okay, here what happens, slip ring is not there in three phase slip ring induction motor. There is a slip ring. Okay, but in this single phase induction motor there is no slip ring as well as there is no brushes. Okay, so it makes the construction of single phase induction motor very simple and robust. Okay, so this is the construction, stator construction and rotor construction of single phase induction motor. Now working. Okay, so look at this figure. This is the outer body, we can say that the frame. Okay, this is the stator winding. Okay, this is the rotor winding and rotor bars are placed in the slots. Okay, and this is the motor shaft. Okay, now what happens when we apply a single phase AC supply? Okay, when we apply a single phase AC supply to the stator winding. Okay, so here is the suppose state, this is the stator winding. Okay, and we are giving single phase AC supply to the stator winding. Okay, so when single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding, at that time alternating current starts flowing through the stator winding. Okay, so what happens, as the single phase AC supply is given, the current is flowing through the stator winding, or we can say that the alternating current starts flowing through the stator winding or the main winding. Okay, this alternating current produces an alternating flux which is called a main flux. Okay, so as soon as the current is flowing through the stator winding, what happens, it produces a alternating flux. As the alternating current is flowing through the stator winding, this alternating current produces an alternating flux which is called the main flux. So we can say that the main flux is produced in the motor. Now this main flux links with the rotor conductors. Okay, so whatever flux produced by the stator winding, that is linked with the rotor conductors, which are the bars. Okay, so this main flux is linked with the rotor conductors, hence the rotor conductors, what happens, it is the alternating flux, so this flux is cut by the rotor conductors. Okay, so now according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, what happens, EMF is generated in the rotor. Okay, EMF is generated in the rotor. Now as the rotor circuit is closed, as we discussed earlier, that the rotor copper bars are permanently short circuited, so we can say that the rotor circuit is the closed one. Okay, so rotor circuit is the closed one. So what happens, the current starts flowing in the rotor conductors Okay, this current is called the rotor current, and this rotor current produces the flux which is called the rotor flux. Okay, so now what happens? As the single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding, current is flowing through the stator winding. This current is of alternating type. So due to it, alternating flux is produced, which is called the main flux. Okay, now this main flux links with the rotor conductor and hence cuts the rotor conductor. So according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, flux is generated in the rotor conductors. Now the rotor conductors are the short circuited uh, through the copper rings. So what we can say, that the rotor circuit is the closed one. Rotor circuit is the closed one. That means the current is flowing through the rotor conductor, which is known as the rotor current. Now this rotor current produces the flux which is called the rotor flux. Okay, so here what happens, so we have a stator flux which is called the main flux, we have a rotor flux, so we have a two fluxes. Since this flux produced due to the induction principle, there is no physical connection between stator winding and rotor winding. Okay, in between stator winding and rotor winding there is an air gap. Okay, so there is no physical connection. So what happens here, the flux is produced due to the induction principle. So motor working on this principle got its name as an induction motor. Whatever flux produced in the induction motor, that is due to the induction principle. Okay, that's why the motor name is given the induction motor. Okay, that's why the motor name is given the induction motor. Now there are two fluxes, one is the main flux and another is the rotor flux. In stator we have a main flux, that is the stator flux. In rotor we have a rotor flux. These two fluxes produces the desired torque which is required by the motor to rotate. Okay, so stator flux and rotor flux. Okay, with the by these two fluxes, or we can say that these two fluxes produce the desired torque which is required to rotate the motor. Okay, so torque is produced by these two flux to rotate the rotor of the motor. Okay, so this is the principle how this motor operates. Okay, now actual working. Okay, so what happens, this single phase induction motor. Okay, here we discuss the working principle, that how this motor works on the basic principle. Now what is the actual working of this motor? Okay, so according to double field revolving theory, any alternating quantity can be resolved into two components. Okay, which theory? According to double field revolving theory, we can resolve any alternating quantity, whether it is of voltage or current or EMF, etc. Okay, so according to double field revolving theory, we can resolve any alternating quantity into two components. Okay, and each component has a magnitude equal to the half of maximum magnitude of that alternating quantity. Okay, so suppose we have a current. Okay, so this current is divided into two components. We assume that I1 and I2, these are the two components, and these two component has a magnitude which, how much the magnitude, that is the half of the maximum. So total is I, then I1 is equal to I by 2, I2 is equal to I by 2. This is the magnitude. Okay, so both these component rotates in a opposite direction to each other. Okay, and both these component, that is equal dividing component, rotates in opposite direction to each other. So if one component rotates in a clockwise direction, then the other component rotates in the anti-clockwise direction, so in opposite direction. So for example, we take a flux. flux phi can be resolved into two component. Okay, so whatever flux produced in this motor, that flux can be resolved into two component, and it has a plus phi m by 2 component and minus phi m by 2 component. Okay, so phi is the alternating flux component. Okay, so alternating flux phi can be resolved into two component, plus phi m by 2 and minus phi m by 2. Phi m is the maximum value of alternating flux. Okay, each of these components rotates in opposite direction. Okay, so here we have written that plus phi m by 2. Plus phi m by 2, that means it rotates in a clockwise direction or it rotates in a positive direction. Okay, and the second is the minus phi m by 2, that means it rotates in an anti-clockwise direction, or we can say the direction is the negative. Okay, that's why the here written is the plus phi m by 2 and minus phi m by 2. Okay, so now when we apply a single phase AC supply to the stator winding of single phase induction motor, it produces a flux which has a magnitude of phi m. Now what we assume that we are giving AC supply, single phase AC supply to the single phase induction motor. At that time, whatever the flux produced in this motor, that has the magnitude of phi m. Okay, we assume that the flux produced has a magnitude of phi m. Now, according to double field revolving theory, alternating flux phi m is divided into two components of magnitude phi m by 2. Okay, we already discussed. Each of these components will rotate in opposite direction. That means one component is plus phi m by 2 and second component is the minus phi m by 2 with the synchronous. What is the speed? Speed is the synchronous speed ns. Now let us call these two component of flux as forward component of flux and backward component of flux. Okay, so here we assume that the plus phi m by 2 is the forward component of flux and minus phi m by 2 is the backward component of flux. Okay, positive and negative as we discussed earlier. Okay, so positive is the forwarding component and negative is the backward component. Okay, so resultant of this two component of flux at any instant gives the value of instantaneous stator flux at that particular instant. Okay, so here in this component, this is the forward torque component and this is the reverse torque component. We can say that this component is a forward component and this component is the reverse current. So if we talk in the manner of flux, then it is the forward flux and it is the backward flux. Okay, so now at starting condition, both the forward and backward component flux are exactly equal and opposite to each other. Okay, here is this condition. Okay, in starting condition, what happens? The rotor is in standstill condition. As soon as the supply is given, at that time the speed of rotor n is 0. Okay, so rotor is in standstill condition, rotor is not in a rotating condition. Okay, so n is equal to 0. N is equal to 0. At that time, the forward flux and backward flux component, this is the forward flux component, this is the backward flux component, these two flux component are equal and opposite to each other. Okay, understood? So both these component of flux are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So at that time we can say that the torque produced by these two flux component, the torque produced by these two flux component, that is the flux produced by the forward flux or torque produced by the forward flux is the forward torque. The flux produced by the backward flux, torque produced by the backward flux is the backward torque. Okay, so at standstill condition, when n is equal to 0, this is the forward torque and this is the reverse torque. Okay, so what happens? Both this forward torque and reverse torque forward torque and reverse torque both have the equal magnitude and both are in opposite to each other. Understood? Both forward torque and reverse torque have the same magnitude and both are opposite to each other. So when two quantities are equal and opposite to each other, at that time they cancelled effect of each other. Okay, that means there is the null effect of these two components, as both these components are nullify each other. Okay, so there is no effect of forward torque as well as backward torque on the rotor. Okay, so we can say that the resultant torque or the net torque experienced by the rotor at starting condition is 0. So now we can say that what happens now, we can say that the resultant torque of forward and backward torque becomes 0 as both nullify each other. So there is no torque applied to the rotor and no torque is given to the rotor. That means rotor is not capable to rotate as the torque is 0. Okay, so in starting condition when we are giving AC supply to the motor in starting condition, so in starting condition the torque is 0 and torque is 0, that means rotor is not able to rotate and rotor is not able to rotate. That means we can say that induction motor does not rotate, and, and this induction motor does not rotate. That means we can say that the single phase induction motor is not a self-starting motor. Okay, because the in starting condition the forward torque and reverse torque both are equal and opposite to each other, so the net torque becomes 0. Net torque becomes 0, that means rotor is not able to rotate, and rotor is not able to rotate, that means motor will not start. Motor will not start, that means we can say that the single phase induction motor is not a self-starting motor. Okay, so from this discussion what we can conclude, that we can easily conclude that single phase induction motors are not self-starting. What is the reason behind it that the single phase induction motor is not a self-starting motor? Because the produced stator flux is alternating in nature. When we are giving single phase AC supply to the stator winding, at that time the flux produced is of alternating in nature. It is not rotating in nature, it is of alternating in nature at the starting. Okay, so as soon as the single phase AC supply is given, at that time the alternating flux is produced. Okay, and the two component of this flux cancel each other and hence there is no torque. Okay, so this flux is divided into two component, forward component and backward component. So due to the forward flux, forward torque is produced, due to the backward torque, backward flux is produced. And at starting condition when rotor is in standstill condition, at that time the forward torque and backward torque both are equal and opposite to each other, so the net torque becomes 0 and net torque becomes 0, that means the rotor is not able to rotate, so we can say that the motor is not a self-starting motor. Now what is the solution of this problem? The solution of this problem is we have to make the stator flux rotating type like in the three-phase induction motor. Okay, in three-phase induction motor, when three-phase supply is given to the stator winding, at that time the rotating magnetic field is produced. But in single phase induction motor, when single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding, the alternating flux is produced. It is not the rotating type. Okay, so if we want to make the single phase induction motor self-starting, then we have to make the stator flux rotating type. Whatever flux produced in the single phase induction motor must be of a rotating type. That means we have to make the stator flux rotating type. Okay, which rotates in one particular direction only. and then the induction motor will become self-starting. Okay, so how can we produce the rotating flux? This is the single phase induction motor. Okay, so in this we have to use the split phasing method. That means the winding is splitting into two winding. One winding is splitting into two winding. Okay, one winding is called the main winding and second winding is called the starting winding. Look at this figure. Okay, this is the main winding and this is the starting winding. Okay, so the stator winding is splitting into two winding. One is the main winding, another is the starting winding. Both are displaced by 90-degree electrical with each other. Okay, there is a phase angle of 90-degree between main winding and the stator winding, and by splitting this, that means it becomes the two-phase winding. Okay, and when supply is given to the two-phase winding, at that time rotating magnetic field is produced. When supply is given to three-phase winding or supply is given to two-phase winding, in both cases the rotating magnetic field is produced. Whereas when single phase supply is given to single phase winding, at that time rotating magnetic field is not produced. Okay, so we have to splitting the stator winding into two winding. One is the main winding and second one is the starting winding. By making splitting these two winding, we can produce the rotating magnetic field, and once the rotating magnetic field is produced, at that time the flux rotates in only one direction. So there is no becomes two component which rotates in opposite direction. So it rotates in a unidirection. That means the flux produced on rotor conductors which able to rotate the rotor in a clockwise direction or in the direction of rotating magnetic field. So in this manner we can make the single phase induction motor self-starting. Okay, so today we discuss about the construction, basic introduction of the induction motor, construction of single phase induction motor. There is a main part of stator winding and the rotor winding. Then the working principle on which the induction motor operates. It operates on the induction principle because there is no physical connection between stator winding and rotor winding. So the name given is the induction motor. Then the actual working of the synchronous motor, induction motor. This induction motor is a not self-starting motor, and for making the induction motor self-starting, single phase induction motor self-starting, we have to splitting the stator winding into two winding, main winding and stator winding, and both are placed 90-degree apart. Okay, so when supply is given to this two-phase winding, the rotating magnetic field is produced and torque is also produced in the rotor, and then motor will rotate. Okay, so up to this point we will stop here.